Hey Miriam, it's good to see you. Hi.
Hello.
Hi all, this is Miriam, the philosopher from Sweden.
And you are Dyonne, a healer from Holland. Yes, and we're talking about personal development. Personal development, last time we talked about personal development from a healer's perspective, and we brought up the aura, the energetic field around the body. And we ended on saying that eh,
I am very curious now from the philosopher's point of view, because that brings us together here, and I really want to know what you have to say, how to approach personal development as a
yeah,
philosopher.
yes,
What
yes.
does it mean to you?
Yeah, because I'm as a philosopher, we work with questions, and like I'm always looking for the question that sort of opens the door to the biggest room, or even a castle, where you have lots of interesting things that you can discover. So I'm thinking personal development. What does that even mean? What is a person? Are there different parts to a person? And we talked about this last time a little bit. Like there's the psychological part of the person, your psychological history, things like trauma, childhood, um, personality, preferences, character styles, attachment styles, and all of these things that you work on, and that sort of really have an effect on your everyday life. And that's so that's part of a person, but it's not the only part of the person. And there's the spiritual part, and there's the sort of the things that you came in with, so to speak, your level of intelligence and your level of intensity or sensitivity that you don't sort of change very much. But and development then means and your body, of course, and seeing how the and development yeah and development means it's like a specific type of change that is sort of, I mean, to an envelopment is when you sort of fold the sides in and you create an envelope, and then you put something in and you seal it and you send it off. So development, the way the
That's a
way
nice analogy, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm just making this up, but so development is you open it up and then you see what the thing was inside, you know, so you can or you can like read the instruction book or whatever, or you can do the nice analogy about the acorn, and there's an oak in the acorn. If you give it the right sun, light, and water and soil, and if you give it the right things, it will develop into an oak. But the oak is already in the acorn. The acorn is never going to be something else. It's never going to be a duck, or So there's something about development that has to do with fulfilling potential or something like that. So so it's not regular change. It's this very specific type of change, and it's also when you notice a child growing their body, and you can see like the familiar traits, the nose and the eyes, and these become clearer and clearer as you grow. They're not very clear when you're a newborn. So it's like,
Is there even an overlap, would you believe, from your perspective, between development and evolution, and then evolution on a personal level?
yeah, personal evolution. That's really cool. Maybe we should change the name of this.
Yeah, personal
Yeah,
evolution.
yeah, personal evolution, personal emergence as well. Emerging to me is this kind of it's just sort of comes out without being pushed, without being dragged out. It just sort of comes by itself because it wants to and it needs to. That's so that's the way I see personal development. That it's not. And I saw this wonderful quote a friend posted the other day. Somebody had said, if you want only personal development, hang out with demons.
Hmm,
And
that's
so there's,
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
amazing quote.
Dance with the demons.
Yes,
Yeah.
but and the thing is, we want personal development, but not we don't want like the full on war type. I'm going to thank you for teaching me about pain kind of.
And that's a very interesting thing that you say, because that's the same from a healing point of view. If I would work with someone or on myself and I would feel a resistance, I have to investigate first
Yeah.
if this resistance needs to be tackled this instant, or is that for another time? And will the universe, well, not the universe per se, that's very abstract, but or will it be sorted out,
Yeah,
later by itself? Because
yeah,
it's very important to also not do it
yeah,
forcefully, as you say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say things like, "Will I leave it this to the universe?" What we really mean, because I use that expression as well, or something like that. And what we really mean is sort of, is it part of a greater scheme that I'm not qualified to like direct and write the script for and control every least detail of at this moment? So that's sort of what I mean, at least when I say that. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, and in addition, if I may, what I mean is indeed, for instance, if I feel a blockage and I ask, is this to be worked through in this moment, or should I leave it for now? And then I could see if I need to revisit it the next time,
mm,
or if nothing comes, it means that either the person is not ready, or first certain confrontations need to be done in the physical world.
mm,
So yeah, that's what I mean also with earthly world. When I said that the last time, I mean the physical world, the tangible world. So, but
yeah,
yeah, back to you. Yeah.
yeah. And when you say, if you ask, is this something that I need to work on now, or should it be to next time? What do you mean when you say ask? Like, do you ask the patient,
No,
the
actually, not
universe?
the patient. No, not the patient, because if I were the patient, I know my own weaknesses, and I tend to be a person to say I want it and I want it now. So my tendency is to be impatient and
Yeah.
to be forceful upon myself. So I never ask the patient, because the patient can come in with like, okay, I feel I have too much stress here and there, or I'm too much in my head. And then during a treatment, I could try to ground that person more and live in their body and less in their head. But I would, if I would ask, I mean, more like I would check with my hands and sense like, okay, I know this person wants to come down, and I'm trying to pull them down energetically wise. And then at a certain point, usually either the energy stops or
Mhm.
it changes, it becomes more hot or more cold. And then I could feel like it's more that I ask within myself, like through to a higher power, or well, yeah, I say universe again actually. Like I ask, okay, should I continue? And then I feel if something happens or not. So it's not very abacadabra, but yeah, you do ponder a bit, and you check or you move back with your hands, and yeah, it usually takes you places, and then and you feel either you have to stop or not. It's sensing and feeling more.
Mm. And the important point here is, of course, the relationality and the interrelationality, and the sort of the asking asking like a general question. And I do this with food. Like I sort of think, can I eat this? Will this give me eczema? And then I get like a, can I eat this? I sort of get a yes or not. I mean, there's a difference between yes and no, but only if I ask yes and no questions. I can't like just
Yeah.
think in my head, what's the, and then,
No, you have to ask closed questions,
yes.
otherwise you get blurred answers.
Yes, yes. Or maybe I could be able to ask these questions. I don't know, like sometime in the future, if I evolve into, personal evolvement, it's possible. Okay, losing track a little bit here, but the relationality, so that the relation between you and the patient, and like something more, not just you and the patient, but like
Something more.
the healing sort of uh, blah, 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 the way that you sense with your hands and your body, you sense the energy of the other person. There is more than just you two there, or something. How should we put this?
Yes, it's kind of more. There's more, and you call it life energy or life force. You
Right.
try. Actually, it's the same as what you try with meditation, but then as a healer, you're maybe a bit more attuned, I guess, that you try to detach from what comes up with the head, with the mental body.
Yeah.
But we'll get in there the next time about the subtle body and everything. But for now, I leave it with you detach from the mental body with your mind constructs, and you feel and you sense, and you actually you tap into yeah, more to energy, to something bigger, yeah, something else.
Yes, when you're talking, I'm thinking first, the first thing I'm thinking is that the healing comes from somewhere else, and that the healer is like the vessel of the healing
Yes,
energy or something like that.
yes,
Yes, and that is the reason to why you can be a healer who is not like perfectly in perfect health, but you can still help heal other people because you become a vessel. So it's not like it comes from you, the healing. So that's the first thought, and the other one was yes, right. The again with the different parts of the self and the different parts of the body. You say the mental body, and last time you talked about the subtle body and the invisible body outside of the body, and and
yeah, the
body.
invisible is subtle. Subtle is the invisible, unseeable,
Yeah,
and that consists of an astral body, a mental body, a causal body, and an emotional body. But that's something for another time.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. I'm really looking forward to that other time. But
Yes,
the point here was the working
it's a
the
bigger energy, something
yes,
else.
yes, there's something else, and the going away from the mental. And you also said a few times, you said going away from the head and into the body and grounding yourself. And this
Yes, I
the
meant with going away from the thought system, from the
yeah,
mind palace, as Sherlock Holmes would say, you know. Yeah.
yeah. And the place where you have arguments and reasons for things, like for example with me and food, and that example, I used to be in my head all the time. Uh,
Yeah.
so for me, checking sort of what I need to eat is I would go after lists. I would go like I'm looking at something. I would go, what's in it? Other time going through other times I've eaten something similar, and sort of compare and stuff. And the bypassing that part, which I'm practicing now as part of my personal evolvement, is so
Mm.
much quicker and
Yeah.
more accurate.
Yeah. Because when you do what you do, and that can again only be done with the closed questions,
Mm,
because the soul, the energy, it doesn't construct ifs and thens and whats, and like it cannot let you choose from the buffet. You
mm,
can only say like pineapple. Yes, no, it can only make that distinction, and
yeah.
and that's all there is, and yeah, that's
And
very good to do it like that. It's like the pendulum, it's
yeah,
like you, yeah.
that's so funny you bring that up, the pendulum, because my dad got a brain tumor in 1985, and after
Mm.
that he went to Germany. They told him he was going to die, but he went to Germany, and he came back with a pendulum, and he was it's like checking out all the foods he ate, and he
Mm-hmm.
did, and that sort of it slipped my mind for 10 years. I completely forgot about this pendulum, and then I'm like, my dad had a pendulum. Like, it was just a
Mm-hmm.
revolution maybe 5 years ago or something. When I figured, my dad used to also say, the answer exists, you just have to find it, and the human being is the best channel.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was really, really noteworthy. Yeah.
And then you wanted to learn all about philosophy.
Yeah, no, that was before. The philosophy was before. Yeah, asking questions. Yeah, yeah, good.
Interesting.
Mm. Right, should we leave it there and
Yes.
pick up with what do we do next time? Oh, we do whatever feels right. Good. Personal.
We're gonna use the pendulum on that.
Yeah,
I pick a topic, you pick a topic, and we do the pendulum, and then we see what needs to go first. There's
yeah.
so much you and I can talk about it. I feel it. Yeah. I can see 100 sessions lined up.
Me too. I can see like 20 years of like, oh, and how about this? And then
Yeah.
with a pendulum, trying to exercise your intuition and your interpretation skills. Oh, that's
Yes.
what I wanted to say. That the universe, I read this somewhere, so I'm not making it up, but I read that the universe, or like when you ask these open-ended questions, yes or no questions, to a pendulum, or to when I'm holding a piece of food in my hand, the answer that you get is either yes or nothing. So it doesn't sort of go no. There's not a big. I mean, you don't get a protest response. You just don't get a response at all. But you do get a yes when it's.
Yeah. I would have to revisit that for myself, but I think that's the case. Yes.
Yeah, like there's no protest sort of. You just go, you check one question: does this patient need to talk to someone? Is it their mother? And you just go on like that. It's not like it's not. I mean, you don't get like a big protesty.
Yeah. Get what you mean. Yeah.
Great.
Interesting.
Mm.
More food for thought and conversation.
Yes. Yes. Looking forward to picking this up again soon.
Yes. See you next time.
Thank you.